What's up, everyone? This is James Hernandez. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're all doing good and hope you guys had a great weekend. And welcome to one of my movie review videos, continuing reviewing horror movies for the upcoming spooky season. And today I'm going to be reviewing the sixth installment of the Friday the 13th franchise. That is right, today I'm going to be reviewing Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Now, Friday the 13th, Part 6 is the sixth installment of the Friday the 13th franchise, and this is so far the first time we actually got to see Jason returning after his absence from Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, where it doesn't really feature Jason at all because there was a copycat killer who dressed up as Jason. So this movie actually brought Jason back to life, and it actually pleases the audience. And this is also the first time we got to see Jason as a undead zombie. So yeah, let's talk about the story for this movie. So this movie begins in a foggy night where the main character Tommy Jarvis brought his friend along with him to go to the cemetery to make sure if Jason's really dead, and he actually brought Jason's hockey mask with him because he was still feeling traumatized after the events of Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, even though it's not the final chapter. And we're also going to ignore Part 5 because Part 5 doesn't include Jason at all. So basically, I would say this movie takes place about like, I don't know, like many years after the events of Part 4, where Tommy Jarvis is now a grown adult, and he is still traumatized about his experience with Jason Voorhees when he was a kid back in Part 4. So so yeah. So he goes back to the cemetery to make sure that Jason is dead, and he opens Jason's coffin, and Jason looks really disgusting with all like the disgusting bugs and worms all over his body and in his face. So then he wants to make sure that Jason is truly dead. And despite that Jason is already dead, Tommy actually grabs the spear thing, and he basically just like impales Jason plenty of times, and then he throws the hockey mask at the corpse. But then he didn't realize that the lightning bolt actually struck and actually resurrect Jason, which is like something like out of Frankenstein or even King Kong versus Godzilla. So Jason's brought back, and now Jason is going after Tommy Jarvis, and also Jason is back in action to go on a killing spree, killing all these camp counselors in Camp Crystal Lake. And now it is up to Tommy Jarvis to stop Jason Voorhees once and for all. So the first time I watched this movie is when I was trying to find some movies to watch on cable, and when I heard that the Friday the 13th movies were like on TV, like even during like AMC Fear Fest on Halloween, or even like when I was like in the Friday the 13th mood, like when Friday the 13th the actual day was coming, I record the movie and then I watch it on TV. And then I got this film on DVD for my birthday, and that was I think it was like 5 years ago. It was like before the pandemic, I guess. Now, after watching Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, out of all the Friday the 13th movies, especially the sequels to the franchise, this is actually my most favorite Friday the 13th movie ever. There are some small problems with the movie, but everything else, I do think this is actually a wonderful film. So let's talk about Jason himself. Now, Jason Voorhees actually does look really cool. I'm not sure who's the actor who played him because like there's like so many actors who actually play Jason Voorhees in every single Friday the 13th installment. It's not like with Freddy Krueger or Chucky, where he was basically played by the same guy, because you know Freddy is known being played by Robert Englund, while Chucky is known for being performed and voiced by Brad Dourif. But Jason has been like played by many different actors. Kane Hodder was the best known from like Part 7 all the way to Jason X. Now, the actor who plays Jason in this movie, I actually really thought that he's really cool. And when he starts like killing people, like it's literally like what Jason has been doing in every single Friday the 13th film, especially in Freddy vs. Jason as well as in the 2009 remake. He's been like doing whatever he does as a business, like going to Camp Crystal Lake, killing all these camp counselors that were doing things they were not supposed to do, and Jason just pretty much like butchers them, and they pretty much like, let's be fair, they kind of deserve it. Now, what I really like about this Jason is that I really like that he, kept getting cooler. He has like this outfit. Like I know some people don't really like the outfit, especially Cody Leach when he did his review for this movie. He said that he's really not a fan of the outfit that Jason wears. Like he wears like some type of like green suit, and he has like yellow gloves, and he has like tools in his pocket. It's like something like out of like GI Joe, which I understand what he's trying to say, which, and I actually have to agree with him. Like it might not be like my most favorite design of Jason, but I think he looks fine, and I still think Jason is being, well, Jason. Now, the other thing I really want to talk about is the actor who plays Tommy Jarvis. Now, Tommy Jarvis in this movie is my favorite actor who actually played Tommy Jarvis, and I actually liked him better than Corey Feldman from Part 4. And I'm not saying Corey Feldman is bad as Tommy Jarvis, but the reason why I like Tommy Jarvis from Part 6 in this movie is because I like his personality. I like how he's very charming. You root for him to find Jason and try to track him down and basically like put an end to Jason once and for all. And not a lot of people believed in him. That's all except for his girlfriend slash love interest, Megan, who is played by Jennifer Cook. Now the thing with Megan is that she is like the final girl in this movie, and when it comes to the final girls in the Friday the 13th films, she's actually like my most favorite one, and she really does have a huge crush and has the hots for Tommy Jarvis. There were moments like where she is like hot over heels for him, and there was like some really awkward moments where she basically just like is super duper obsessed with him. And I really do think, much like with Tommy Jarvis, she is very charming. She's very sweet, and she is like the only one who actually understands where Tommy is coming from, and she is the only one who actually believes Tommy about Jason being real. And while everybody else just like denies it, even her father, the sheriff, just completely just deny everything that is like, oh, Tommy is just being crazy, and it was like, oh, Jason's not real. He was just a legend. But yeah, but his daughter Megan is the only one who believes Tommy Jarvis about the whole situation that Jason Voorhees exists, and she decides to like to help him, and then and also tends to protect the children. Yeah, there is children in this movie, which I know many people might say, oh, well, it's not really the first time you have children in the Friday the 13th movie. I mean, take a look at Part 1, which, yeah, but that's not what was the main plot of the first Friday the 13th movie. But in this one, we actually do got to see children in this movie, because there are moments like where there was this little girl named Nancy who sees like Jason, and then she is usually like one of those kids who thought that they might have seen a monster, like from their points of view, and they said, "Oh no, it's not from like a dream. It was actually like real, like what you see on TV or something." And Nancy is just a very sweet, innocent little girl. There's nothing much I can say about her, basically, because she's just a child, you know. And there was this some scene where she sees Jason again, and then Jason was like getting close to her, and then and then like Nancy sees Jason, and then she places her hand. She was like, "Oh, please, 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 don't kill me, don't kill me, don't kill me." And then like Jason hears like a sound, and then Jason actually just like left the room. And it really shows that like Jason doesn't really like, despite that how dangerous Jason Voorhees can be in the rest of the movies, especially way before he fought the likes of Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street in Freddy vs. Jason, he doesn't actually kill kids. He mostly kills teenagers and adults, like in every single installment of the Friday the 13th movies. Well, except for Part 1 and Part 5, New Beginning. So when Jason actually sees Nancy just like praying, Jason doesn't really do anything to her because she is just a child. And then Jason is like, I'm not gonna hurt this kid. I heard something or someone is like out there in the woods. I'm gonna go get them. I'm gonna leave this kid stay in the bed. And and I thought I was like, okay, there are some moments where some slasher villains can do some nice things, and that's something I felt like that horror fans actually didn't notice. Now let's talk about the kills, because I made a whole list of kills, much like in every single horror film when I reviewed in my channel. I have like a screenshot of the list of kills of what Jason costs. Now, we all know that Jason Voorhees has like the biggest body count out of all the horror movie icons in horror movie history, but the list of kills in this one, he has like about 18 confirmed kills in this movie. Now, the kills I really want to talk about, one is like the first kill is when Tommy has his first encounter with Jason in the cemetery when Jason got resurrected. His friend tries to, basically tries to like hit Jason with a shovel, but that didn't work because Jason was too strong and the shovel broke. So Jason turns around and he just like punched the guy's heart out. And that kill, I'm not gonna lie, was actually one of the most graphic kills I have ever seen in this movie, because like he just like punches like his heart out. He just took it off his chest, and then like, and when I was watching this movie with my grandmother and my grandfather, not only I thought this kill was graphic, but it's also kind of funny, and I'm gonna explain why. Because the reason why I think this is one of the funniest kills in this movie is because when Jason killed that guy when he took his heart out, he actually fell down onto the same coffin that Jason comes out, and then when that guy falls in, the coffin closes by itself, and then I was just and me and my grandparents like couldn't help each other but just laugh, because it's like, oh, like you just basically just like killed the guy, like, and you basically fell on the spot that you just got resurrected at, and you just like come out of there from your grave or something. I don't know, it's like one of the funniest kills, even though it is graphic. But that kill, I always thought it was hilarious. Now the other kill I actually wanted to talk about is let's see. Oh, I want to talk about the scene with the RV kill. Now, this is where this guy named Court was like driving the the RV, and then after when his girlfriend Nikki was killed by Jason, when Jason just like slams her face on the wall, Court was unaware because he was too focused on not only driving, but he was also listening to this song called Teenage Frankenstein by Alice Cooper. And I gotta talk about the soundtrack really quick before I get back to the kills. So I'll talk about the soundtrack really quick. There's actually two songs in this movie which I actually really thought they were really catchy, and I do think it really holds up today, even still. Yeah, Teenage Frankenstein and The Man Behind the Mask that was playing the end credits are all performed by Alice Cooper. And every time I listened to these two songs, I actually was jamming, and I was like dancing to it, and usually I actually sang because of like how catchy it is, despite that I'm a 90s kid, and the Friday the 13th movies, mostly like after part 1, they all came out in the 80s, much like with A Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, the soundtrack is great. Now let's get back to the RV kill. Now, when Jason killed Court's girlfriend Nikki, he comes out of the bathroom, and then he actually walks slowly towards Court, and then he grabs like a knife out of his pocket, and then what he did, he stabbed Court in the ear, and it causes like a spectacular crash. And then Jason comes out, and he just comes out of the crash RV with no injury. And I was like, yeah, Jason is really durable. He's so immortal. He just cannot die. Because Jason, he does have weaknesses. He's not invincible, but all those incredibly durability feats, you can tell that Jason Voorhees is one of the toughest slashers in horror history. So I really got to give props to Jason. And yeah, and the rest of the kills were also pretty good, even though some of the kills I kind of felt like they were just kind of cutaways because of the the MPAA was just like, oh, you can't show that much like graphic kills to the whole audience, which I think is total BS because the Friday the 13th movies are supposed to be gory and violent, and plus those films are rated R. So what do you expect? Um, so yeah, and now let's talk about the. I want to talk about the climax of the movie. So after when Megan and Tommy actually managed to escape from the sheriff's office, so Tommy actually tricks Megan to get the paper that he took from her, and these two actually share a kiss, which I thought it was hilarious. And then this officer, I don't know his name, but like he actually got locked in by Tommy Jarvis when Megan actually pull his gun that has like a red laser, and then she actually forces him to let Tommy out of the jail cell. So then he lets Tommy out, and then he got locked in, and that was the last time you see that officer. And right after that, we don't see him again. So after that, Tommy and Megan has to go track down Jason, and they have to like save the kids. So while Megan actually goes look after the kids, Tommy has to take care of Jason. And the showdown between Jason and Tommy is actually pretty suspenseful. And there are times where I kind of felt like Tommy was like kind of acting pretty dirty. Now I'm gonna explain why I say this. It's because Tommy tries to get Jason's attention when Jason was about to kill Megan, but then Tommy calls out Jason's name, and then he was like saying like all these like he was like calling him like names that are so pretty much like inappropriate, which I was like, okay, Tommy, you don't need to go that hard on Jason. Like, come on, man, just like just get Jason's attention, but don't just say like, oh, get me, you beep, and all that kind of stuff. It's like so insulting. Where I was just like, yeah, you're going like way too hard and going way too dirty on trying to get Jason's attention. Like, chill the hell out, man. So, but anyways, the climax with Jason and Tommy is actually very suspenseful, and then they were like having like a struggle fight, and then he was trying to make Jason like drown on the same spot, like, well, not the same spot, but like basically like just like hang Jason in the water, and then but it didn't go so well for Tommy. Like, while Jason did not kill Tommy, he basically made Tommy pass down in the water. So then Megan tells the kids to stay there while she goes get Tommy Jarvis. And then she basically managed to rescue Tommy, and then she defeated Jason in the process. And then the movie ends with Jason in the water, and then we see the last shot of his eye, and then it cuts to the credits. So yeah, like I thought this Friday the 13th movie is actually one of my favorites. Now the one problem I kind of had with this movie is that the paintball scene with those guys dressing up as army just kind of feels I don't know, it just kind of feels like out of place. And there was like one moment where this one guy was like cutting up the tree branches with a machete, and then he was like, this woman should not play the game, she should be staying in the kitchen. And I'm just like, okay, that guy's kind of being acting like a cold-hearted no offense when I say this, guys, but this guy actually just comes off acts like a douchebag, and it really makes me want Jason just like to take him out of the picture, which he did. And the kill is also kind of weird, because the way how Jason killed that guy is when he actually grabs like his arm, then he just like throw the guy at the tree branch, and then for some strange reason there was a happy face on the tree, and I was just like, where did that come from? So did the guy actually smile when he was preparing to die at the hands of Jason? And then there was also this really funny scene like where Jason, not only he got the machete, but he also got the guy's hand that it was grabbing to, and he was like, oh, not only I got the machete, but I got his arm too. So yeah, like I that kill is actually really funny, but I kind of wish it was a bit more creative, and I just wish that they could have like showed something other than it was just a smiley face on the tree, because I was like, why would you put like a happy face on your tree? Like, that makes absolutely no sense. The other thing I really do not like about this movie is, I have to say, the sheriff. Honestly, he's not really doing his job, and he is like such a very stereotypical cop that you have seen like in other horror movies where they don't believe the main character is telling them about there's a mask slasher killer on the loose, and basically like the cops actually thinks like the teenage characters were just completely crazy and they think they are responsible for the kills. And I was just like, yeah, this guy is such a how can I put this? The guy is just like such kind of an ass, and I felt like that he's not really like giving Tommy the chance to speak to him about Jason is out there, and they're not really helping Tommy Jarvis, and they just come off as being like the stereotypical police officers that just really don't really do their jobs, and they think of what they're doing is right than the camp counselors. And then I'm just like, come on, man. I mean, he's like, come on, you had to listen to Tommy. Like, why don't you just like zip your lips and just listen to Tommy? He's telling you the truth. Don't just be like a rude, stereotypical cop that just doesn't care about like what Tommy is, and you just look at Tommy like he's crazy. Um, so yeah, that actually really bothers me, and it becomes like really cliche, like not just from horror movies, but also from movies, period. So yeah. The last thing I want to talk about, what I thought it was really strange, is that you know what's crazy? That this is the first Friday the 13th movie that has no nudity at all. And I was just like, wait a minute, there's no nudity in this movie. Because in every like single Friday the 13th movie, as well as in the remake, like there is actually like over the top nudity with the camp counselors and before Jason goes in to kill them. But in this one, there's actually no nudity at all. So I kind of felt like, so is the kids kind of allowed to like watch this movie despite that it's rated R? It's really weird and it's so confusing. I was just like, also, okay, so it's like, okay, it's a Friday the 13th movie, but like, why don't you just like add nudity in the film? You know, if because like part five and the 2009 remake is like very gratuitous. This one is actually like a very like safe kind of movie. It's like, okay, you don't need to like show a lot of the nudity, but at the same time, I'm like, but it's a Friday the 13th movie. But isn't that what the Friday the 13th movies are known for? You know, not just Jason Voorhees going around killing people. I don't know. I mean, that's just kind of weird. I think it's because of the MPAA, but I don't know. But anyways, so my overall thoughts on Friday the 13th Part 6. This is actually like one of my favorite installments in the series. Are there small problems? Yes, but do I enjoy this movie? Yes, I do. This is actually one of my favorite installments in the series, and I actually really do think that this is obviously the best Friday the 13th movie. So, if you really want to watch like a Friday the 13th movie where you don't really expect much and you really want to see Jason coming back after his absence from part 5, then this is a movie that I actually really do recommend. And especially if you really like the two soundtracks by Alice Cooper, which I do think that Alice Cooper did a very good job with the two songs. So, so overall, Friday the 13th Part 6, great movie. I wouldn't say great, but I would say it's a good entry to the series. Like I said, there are some small issues, but I still really enjoyed it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives an 8.9 out of 10. I really do enjoy this movie. It's not perfect, it's not great, but this is actually the Friday the 13th movie that I can definitely watch over and over and over again, along with Freddy vs. Jason as well as the 2009 remake. So, if you guys are a huge fan of Friday the 13th, and if you really love seeing Jason Voorhees just being Jason and going around killing those camp counselors that you really just don't care about, then this is the movie that I actually really do recommend. So, go get this movie on DVD and Blu ray and go buy it. So, folks, that is my review for Friday the 13th Part 6 Jason Lives. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of Friday the 13th Part 6? Is this your favorite installment of the Friday the 13th franchise? Or there's other Friday the 13th movies that you like the most? Let me know in the comments below. And also, feel free to subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and turn on the notifications when I make future videos. And stay tuned for the next horror movie I'm going to review is going to be the second installment of A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's right, Freddy Krueger is going to be coming up next. And the one I'm going to be talking about is Freddy's Revenge. Now, stay tuned for that one. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy my review for Friday the 13th Part 6. This is James Hernandez signing out, and take good care of yourselves.